Hello guys, it's Katie and welcome back to another video. So today's video is my 100th video on this channel, which I am super excited about. So for that, I am going to be showing you guys a crochet tutorial on how to crochet the numbers 1 through 0, and then obviously with that you can make all of the other numbers. So if you guys do want to see more craft, crochet, or business videos from me, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the post notification bell. That way you know every single time I upload a brand new video. Okay, so it is a different day, so don't mind my outfit change and everything. But I did just want to mention that in honor of my 100th video, I am going to be doing a pattern giveaway on my Instagram. So all of the details for this giveaway will be shared on an Instagram post on the day that this video is coming out. So if you guys are interested in entering that giveaway to win one of my crochet patterns from my Etsy shop for free, then make sure that you go over there and follow me and check out the post that I post the day that this video is going up. It will be a crochet pattern of the winner's choice off my Etsy shop. So anyway, with that, let's get on to the tutorial now. Okay y'all, so for this pattern I have a ball of Red Heart Super Saver yarn, and this is in the color Perfect Pink. I also have a 5.5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a yarn needle. And as normal for all of my videos, all of the materials that I'm using will be included in the description box below for you guys, with all of the details and links, so you can buy the materials if you would like. And the written pattern, which is free on my blog, will also be included in the description box below. But with that, we're going to do numbers 0 through 9 in that order. So let's start out with 0. So I'm going to be starting out with a slip knot and chaining 20. So now that I have this chain of 20, I'm going to be inserting my hook into the very first chain space and doing a slip stitch to make this one circle. And now that I have that, I'm going to be doing single crochets in each chain for 2 rounds. So this is the first round done. I'm going to be doing the second round, again, of just single crochets in each stitch. And some of these may be a little bit like not flat, so the best way to solve that, when you are finished with each of your numbers, you can just put like a heavy textbook on top of it, or put your numbers in between 2 books, and that should work great to make the numbers flatter. And at the end of this second round, I'm just going to be slip stitching and finishing off. And then you'll want to weave in your ends, and again, just use like a heavy book, or put this in between 2 heavy books and kind of sandwich it like this. And you can do that for all of the numbers, and they will be much flatter. And for all of these numbers, you can pretty much alter the pattern just a little bit for the numbers to be bigger depending on the size you want them to be. But that is the number 0. I just need to weave in my ends, but I will show you the final product of all the numbers at the very end of this video. So now we're going to do number 1, which is probably the easiest one out of all of these. So again, we're just going to start with a slip knot, and we're going to chain 10. And I'm going to add 1 additional chain for turning, and then I'm going to single crochet in each stitch. Now, instead of chaining 1 and doing a row on top of the one we just did, I'm actually going to be turning the project and doing single crochets in the bottom of the chain. So we did single crochets in the top of the chain, so now we're going to be doing single crochets in the bottom of the chain. So that last stitch that I just made a chain in, I am now going to be, that last chain that I just made a stitch in, I am now going to be making another stitch in. The next chain I'm going to be making a stitch in, and repeating this process until I'm at the very end again. Okay, so I just did the last single crochet in that top stitch, and this is the number 1. So just like before, I am going to be slip stitching and finishing off, and again later on I will be weaving in these ends and then sharing the final product with you for all of the numbers. And again, this one just needs to be shoved like in between books for it to be a little flatter. So next we have number 2, which is a little more complicated, but I'm going to do my best to explain it to you guys. So again, we are starting out with a slip knot and chains. This time it's going to be chaining 22. From here we're going to be single crocheting 7, and then you're going to increase in the next 2. So 2 single crochets in this stitch and 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and this is creating the bottom line for the number 2, and next it'll start to go up like this. So now we're going to single crochet 5, and then we're going to decrease 1. So to decrease, we're just going to be doing 2 single crochets together, and now is where it gets a little bit complicated. So if I lay this down, you can see that this is starting to become the number 2. So I face it this way, it looks more like a number 2 for you guys. These couple of chains that we have left are going to have to turn like this to make the number 2. So you're going to want to turn them like this and continue onward. So instead of continuing with it going straight like this, you're going to curve them into the shape of the 2 and continue working. Hopefully that makes sense. So I have mine curved like that, and I am going to increase in every single one of these last chains. And now we have the number 2, which looks like this. So to finish it off, I am going to just be, again like all the others, slip stitching and cutting the yarn and then finishing off. So here is the number 2, which I also realized I think I was holding it the wrong way for you guys earlier, so I apologize for that. This number 2 is a little more complicated, so I hope you guys understood it all right. So for the number 3, I'm going to be starting out with a slip knot, which I already have here, and I'm going to be chaining 15. Now I'm going to be single crocheting 6 and then increasing in the next, so that will be 2 stitches in the same chain, and then single crocheting 4 and increasing in the next, so again 2 single crochets and then 2 single crochets in these last 2 stitches. So now it looks like this, which this is the bottom part of the 3. So now I'm going to be chaining 1 and turning the project and slip stitching 2. So it'll be 1 and 2, and now I'm going to be chaining 11, and I'm going to be doing single crochets, so 5 single crochets and then a decrease, so just single crocheting 2 together, and then more single crochets until I get back here. So now I'm just slip stitching into this part of the 3, and that is our number 3. So this is another one where again it's gonna just take a little bit of maneuvering and placing it under something heavy for it to look correct. For the number 4, I am again starting out with a slip knot, and I'm going to be chaining 13. Now I am single crocheting 5, and from here, instead of going into the other chains, I am now chaining 8, and then I'm going to be single crocheting 3 and doing an increase in the next, so 2 single crochets in one, and then single crocheting in all the chains that are left here until I get back to this row of chains. I'm going to be slip stitching into the single crochet here where I started the chains when I chained 8. So that is that part of the number 4. So now we just have the rest of the line here. So for that, I am just single crocheting in each one of these chains. Okay, then I'm slip stitching at the bottom here to finish off. And here is the number 4. This is another one that's a little wonky, but it does look better once you use something to flatten it out. For the number 5, again, starting out with a slip knot, like always, I'm going to be chaining 30. Now I'm going to be single crocheting 7, and now I'm going to be increasing in the next, so doing 2 single crochets in this same chain, and then I'm going to be doing 4 single crochets, and then I'm doing another increase, so that will be 2 in the same stitch, and doing 5 single crochets. Then I'm going to be doing a decrease, so that is going to be single crocheting 2 of the chains together, and I'm going to be single crocheting 3 and making 1 more decrease, and then single crocheting in all of the next ones. Now this looks really funny. I should have been shaping it as I was going, but I wasn't, but that's okay. You can tell that this is the bottom part of the 5, and then here is the top part of the 5. So it is just another one that again is wonky until you kind of shape it better and let it flatten out. So I just cut the yarn and I'm going to be finishing off. So before I make the number 6, I did just want to tell you guys that it is the same as the number 9 for my pattern, just flipped upside down. So I am not going to be including the number 9 at the end of this video. It will end off with number 8. Just so you know, number 9 and 6 are the same, just flipped. Just wanted to make you aware of that before I continued on. I'm going to be making a slip knot and chaining 15. Now I will be slip stitching into this first chain that I've made, and then I'm going to be going around this circle doing 1 single crochet in each chain. Okay, and now I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet that I made. Then I'm going to be chaining 11. Now that I have chained 11, I'm going to be doing 1 single crochet in each of these chains. So now that I've done that, it looks like this, and I'm going to be slip stitching into the single crochet on the circle that is before where I started the chain. So I started the chain right here. Instead of slip stitching in the front of that, I'm going to be slip stitching in the back of that. So kind of like that, and then I'm also going to be inserting my hook into the second to last single crochet of the line part here, and I'm going to just insert there and then insert on to the circle as well and do another slip stitch. And this is just to make it attached better and kind of more of a curved shape. And this will take some maneuvering for the 9 to look correct, but once you get it, it should look something like this. So you can either have it as a straight line 9, or you can maneuver this a bit to where it is a little bit curved at the bottom. Some 9s are straight like that and some are curved. It just depends on the font normally, but that is what it looks like. But I'm now just going to be finishing off and moving on to the next number. Number 7 is again starting out with a slip knot, and I will be chaining 20. So I now will be single crocheting 7 and then increasing in the next 2. So 2 single crochets here and 2 single crochets here, and then just doing single crochets in all of the rest. There is the number 7, so I will now be again cutting that and finishing off. Again, I have a slip knot to start out number 8, and I am chaining 15. Then I am inserting my hook into this first chain stitch right here and slip stitching to create a circle, and then I'm going to be doing a single crochet in each of these stitches. Now I am slip stitching into the very first single crochet that we made, and then I'm going to be chaining 17, and then slip stitching into the first chain that I made, again to create a circle, and then I will be doing single crochets in each of these chains as well. Okay, so now that I've done all of the single crochets, I'm just going to be slip stitching into the top circle once right there, and then another time. So I'm actually going through the first single crochet from the bottom circle and the single crochet that is on top of that from the top circle, and pulling through to make a slip stitch, just so that the circles are better attached. And then I will be finishing off, and that is our number 8. So this is all of my numbers complete, and I will now be weaving in the ends off camera and placing them under something heavy overnight, and then showing you guys the final product. Here are my numbers this morning after I have flattened them out, which some of them still aren't as flat as I would like them to be, but I will put them back inside the textbook that I was using to make it a little flatter. But you guys get the general idea of what these numbers look like. So that is it for this tutorial, and I hope you all have enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do give this video a big thumbs up, especially since it's my 100th video. I would really appreciate it. I also would really appreciate it if you guys subscribed down below and hit the post notification bell to know every single time I upload a brand new video. If you guys want to see more from me, you can check out more videos of mine, my blog, my social medias, my podcast, and my Etsy shop. That's all always included in the description box down below. Also, if you want to check out the materials that I used to create this crochet pattern, as well as the written crochet pattern, you can do so in the description box as well. And with all of that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!